Gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Now this video is part 3 of our 3-part series when it comes to S,
E.
X.
Wow, such a teamwork.
That's how we do it here. So, if you haven't watched the other parts to this, go and watch them.
Forget about this one, go back.
Yeah, go and watch the other ones, okay? So, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to put things down in a practical point of view. There's a lot of wishy-washy horseshit that's out there, okay? So, the other videos will sort of lay down some of the problems and things you need to think about as a man with good, strong, masculine frame going out on this mission, okay? So this topic here is the third one, and this one is, we're going to talk about the commitment of sex, right? Because this also, like the other videos, we have some incredible insight, right? And I never would have thought about this until we started Heart Rocket and we talked to our clients.
And we
have
see
these
these problems and
with
conversation.
with coaching calls that we have, and so it strengthens everything, you know, and we like to share that with you guys so you don't have to go through some of that stuff yourself. Okay, so this video here is about you know, what happens in your mind and her mind when you do have, you know, SCX. Okay.
So the first two parts we just quickly reminded was like, first it's like, when will she have it, like when she will get intimate with you,
when will you get it,
when will you get it, okay? And what is the problem if you have it too soon? And this is like kind of like general problems, like what is going on in the mind of female and male when it's actually happened. So what is next step, right?
Yeah, okay, so here's the thing, right? So you know, as men, you know, when the opportunity to have sex arises, we sort of have it. In fact, we may even pursue that with a lady that we're not even too sure about, right? Because we want to just see what it's like. We're just wired that way, right? Like, let's not, you know, it doesn't make the guy a bad person. It's in our DNA. It's through evolution that we want to lay as many seeds wherever we can. With a woman, it's a little bit different, right? So, with her, well, let's talk about.
Let's start with him. It's easier.
No, let's start with her. It's easier, right?
Okay.
Well, it's easier to understand, right? So I had this approach when it comes to dating from the evolutionary psychology part of it when it comes to man-woman interactions, because it has to be that way, right? Otherwise, we have to take the other approach, which is like social conditioning, right? What is right? What is, you know, people are going to judge you for your thoughts. There's a whole bunch of stuff over here, right? So I like to look at it from a practical point of view, right? So let's look at it from a woman's point of view. She has one egg that drops once a month for a short period of time in her life, which makes her extremely valuable for the human evolution, population, right? So she needs to think about these things, right? From a man's point of view, he needs to lay as many as he can in order to keep the population going. It's like, it's a numbers game, right? But in her mind, when it comes to having sex, right?
And finding the one that, you know, she was actually going to give it up.
That she's going to give it up.
No, kind of.
Get this, right? So, okay, so...
You said that before.
I say it all the time. I say it every day to you. To anyone, not just you, but anyone that I'm in contact with. But, so, when it comes to, like, the commitment point of this, okay? So, we want to try and keep it as simple as possible, okay? So, when it comes to the commitment part, right, is that if she decides that you've reached the value threshold, see video 1, the value threshold where she is going to do what? Give it up?
Done.
Where she's going to give it up, right? In your mind, it's like, yeah, not a problem. I've laid one of my thousands of seeds and, you know, through evolution.
Oh, superhero.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, okay, no problem. I've laid it all down. It's not a big deal. Then I'll decide what I want or what I don't want. From her point of view, right, she has shown this interest in you, okay? You've reached her value threshold and she has, you know, given it up, whatever, how Luba likes to call it.
Striker.
But from her point of view, right, it's a commitment to the relationship, right? In her mind, she has moved to the next step, right? We've seen this so many times where they've done it early in the relationship and he's still not at that next stage where he is going to be in a committed relationship with her. Why? Because he doesn't quite know yet if she's the woman that he wants to spend the rest of his life with. Because this takes time, right? You've got to understand goals. You've got to understand values in this relationship. And on the second date, when they get to have, you know, then why are you looking at me like that? Then he doesn't know that yet. So he's looking at it from a practical point of view, but he introduces this like emotional, quick to act trait that goes against everything which is practical, right? And quite often this is, we say that men are practical, well, men do things.
Men are practical.
Men are practical.
Okay.
Men are practical, women are emotional. But the problem is that with us men, right? Us men, I'm talking about myself as well, is that we do things.
And then we think.
Yes, we do things based on emotion. And that emotion may be just like, I just want to have sex or whatever it is. We do things based on emotion. And then we sit back and we can easily explain why we did it from a practical point of view. Well, I did it because, I thought it was going to be, I had nothing else to do, or it was, it was the right time, or, I thought if I didn't do that, blah, blah, blah. So we'll justify our actions that we did on an emotional basis with practicality, right? Women don't really sort of do that, right? So if she's going to say, okay, now is the time, he's reached the value threshold, okay, we're going to go to the next stage. The man is like so far away from thinking the exact same. Sometimes it can be like this, okay? Like, don't get me wrong, it can be in sync, and that is the best possible scenario. But more often than not, from what we see, from our experiences, it's not the case at all. So what happens? She has sex with him, and she thinks, okay, now we're in a relationship. He's thinking, yeah, that was pretty good. Maybe he's judging whether it was good or bad, and he's deciding whether or not he wants to pursue a relationship with her based on that sexual interaction. But in her mind, she's thinking, okay, I've done that. Now, we are in a relationship, right?
He's mine.
So there's something that comes alongside with this, and that is the commitment of being in an actual relationship. And usually this commitment comes alongside with, she wants to see from him that he is a strong, provisioning male, that he can support her, he's going to provide for her. Now, she will test the shit out of him at this point here. We see this all the time. We had a call yesterday, right? Where this exact thing happened, right? So he'd had sex. He was like, yeah, sex is great. But then she asked for something. And it was an expensive item. I don't know, maybe $1,000 or $800. And he was like, well, hang on a second. I'm not there yet. I don't want to, it was something for work, right? It was a computer.
But in her mind, so like I want to just stop here, that probably what you're saying is that like long times ago, it was like she need to lock him in her cave. And now it's more like,
back in the day, there was no contraception. So if she was going to have sex, there was a good chance that she was going to have a child. So she needs to make sure that when she gives up that egg, it's going to the right man. She can't go, I'm just going to go to the chemist and like have morning after pill, or there's no contraception. It is what it is, and that she had to accept the fact that she was going to get pregnant, and he was going to be the father, and she was going to raise.
Lady taking it very serious. She's thinking that if she's having S word with you, then you are completely hers. You're in a relationship, and now you owe her everything and all the world. No, kind of like in the bad words, but to be honest, it's true, because like she now thinks that you are her man, and now she's thinking that like she can ask for anything, or you will do anything for her because she's your woman, and like there is no other way. When this guy, Striker said as an example, like he was not there yet. For him, it was just another step in the relationship, pleasurable, and he thought pleasurable for both. So for him, it was just okay. Let's move on and let's see what else in this relationship. But for her, it was like she started asking for these things, and there's no possible way in this particular relationship that she's a scammer or anything like that. So she was asking that literally because she thinks that she can ask. It's like the same as she would ask her husband, like her mentality now, because they've been intimate and everything, that it's no other way. So he would treat her now from now on the same till the rest of their relationship. So when she asked for this computer, whatever, it was not like something out of like it was not something that she need like spare iPhone or like MacBook. She said that she needed for work, and she was absolutely expecting him to do it because this would qualify him, and it would show that in case of something happened, he's sustainable, and it should prove that she is not mistaking at him. When in his mind, it was kind of like maybe 2-3 steps behind that.
Yeah, if you're watching this video and you're thinking, I'm not going to be buying a woman like gifts or whatever and taking care of her just because we had sex, then you have to ask yourself, look at, like, just back it up a little bit, okay? So what is your value as a man to her, right? Think about this for a second, right? Because maybe she does need a computer, maybe it's an iPhone, whatever it is. But what she's running is a congruency test, right? So she's going, okay, I've done my part. Like, we're thinking on a practical point of view here. Like, if you're thinking emotionally, going, well, no, she should love me for who I am. I have a kind heart and a kind... Like, this is not the way that the world works, okay? She's running a test and she might be saying, well, I need this. Like, is he going to provide that for me, right? Because she's not going to move to the next stage of the relationship, which may be K1 visa, maybe moving to your country. She needs to figure out whether or not you're going to be there for her. When it comes to having sex, for men, it's not a do or die situation. For women, on an evolutionary standpoint, it is. If she gets pregnant and the man is not there, then bad things can happen. For men, it's not a do or die situation. So we talk about evolutionary psychology and relationships because it makes sense now, as opposed to like listening to some Beyonce music video or whatever, or watching some soap opera on TV and taking our advice from that, because that's garbage, right? So when you have sex with her, we talked about in the second video, like having sex too soon, because you're out of control, don't do it. But when you have sex with her, she's now moving to the next stage of the relationship. You should also have this in your mind as well. That, okay, if I'm going to have sex in front of her, if I'm going to have sex with her, I'm
so
in
happy
control.
that it is the third video, and
I
finally...
just thought there's a few more I'm going to put out after, but you won't be here because
Okay.
it's going to be a bit X-rated.
It will.
But when you decide, when you, as the man who's in control of the relationship, moves to the next stage, you're in control of that, right? This is incredibly important, because if you give up your power to her, and hopefully, like, I wonder if I'm going to have sex with her, I hope she gives it up for me, like, you're losing straight away. She can sense that, right? This intuition that women have that we cannot understand, she can sense that, right? And if she senses that she is in control of the relationship because she is the one that is dictating whether or not you and her have sex, you're already losing this battle. I'm going to call it a battle. It's not really a battle, but you're already losing anyway in this relationship. You need to have control of this relationship. But just remember this, right? If she has sex with you and she's serious, she's looking for a long-term relationship, so are you. You're not just you didn't just meet her at some club or something like that, then it doesn't matter. She is going to be looking for a commitment. She's going to test that commitment, right? And we have ways of like supporting a woman on your terms in many other videos before, and it's very important.
We always advise to initiate it by yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a completely different video, but we have a recipe for that. Like, you can ask us and we will respond. But when you initiate and then you don't feel that she's asking, but like, you can tell it like I can say in Ukraine, like, it's like what the ladies are looking for. They're looking for the man who will be that provider, who will take care of everything, and she can just relax and be just that, small girl. And maybe this is what attracts guys in US, in Ukrainian ladies, because there is no like feminism and like, don't open me door, don't do this for me, don't do that. But this is also a downside when the lady is expecting maybe too much from the guys. And even still, like, everybody, even till this time, like, everybody knows that in Ukraine it's common that the guy is paying for the meal if you go out. Some guys still asking, why should I do that? Like in Spain, like in Europe, like we're splitting that, we're sharing that. So this is different. This is also what you need to take in consideration when you travel to Ukraine. Is this for you? Like, are you ready for that? And because you can't be mad at her or think that she's not legit or she's like asking for too much. Yes, if she's asking for something that out of your standard, for example, like she expects you to buy her like Louis Vuitton scarf, or she wants you to buy expensive stuff, then it is just her. Trust me. Like, yes, she's testing you, but at the same time, this is her. And you just need to understand, is it what you want or no, right?
Yeah.
And you can't like tell her like, oh, it's not time, like I will get you ready. You think that you will do something ready for her and she will wait for this moment. For her, it's like you do it now, maybe you will not do it later, but now you need to prove her that you are that man, that she made a right decision. I know it all sounds very like kind of tricky and it's no one straight formula how you can define your relationship, but at least in this series of videos about S-word, we share with you how it is with other guys, and I'm sure that a lot of you can have an empathy with that, right? That this kind of happened to you, because every single call that we have, if the guy been in a relationship or is in a relationship, there's something like that going on. And Striker always talk about the shit test and the ladies testing, and like I realized that a lot of ladies testing the guys subconsciously, right? Like they not doing that because she's a bad person or she want to torture you. She tests you because she want to be sure that you are the one. And as word for her, this is what,
Well, you have to look at it from this point of view, right? So men and women want different things in relationships, right? So let's look at it from the man's point of view. And I always say this, there's three things that men want out of a relationship. And no one has ever been able to add one more thing to it, ever, when I've said it on a call or to friends or to anyone, okay? For a man, this is what we want out of a relationship. We want companionship, we want sex, and the possibility to have a family. If that's, what you're after or not, depending on what stage of life you're in. Sex and companionship. What else is there? So that's what we are looking for, right? We're not looking for security from a woman. We don't need that. That's our job to do that. From a woman's point of view, it says a lot of guys make this mistake, like we're looking for the same thing to be, whatever. But it's not. A woman is looking for a man that's going to take care of her, that's going to provide for her, that's going to provide protection, a well-provisioning man. That's what she wants, right? And attraction grows through that. There's physical attraction, but there's also another attraction that grows through this ability to lead, to provide, to solve problems in life. She wants to walk behind that man. She wants to come into his frame and he holds it, and he holds the relationship. She wants that, right? So if she's going to have sex with you, she's taking it to the next level. So she has to ask herself at that point in time, what's in it for me? And so she has to run these congruency tests, these AKA shit tests, and go, okay, I need to figure out what's in it for me. And if you've had sex earlier on the second date and you haven't demonstrated that earlier on in the relationship, she's going to run these congruency tests, right? If you don't have sex straight away, and maybe you date for a few weeks or whatever, or you don't have sex until you come back, and over that time you've demonstrated that you can take care of her. We've got videos about, opening up a bank account, paying for her power bills or whatever. She's less likely to run these congruency tests subconsciously because she already inside knows that, this man, he's got me. I feel safe with him. I'm happy to, have sex with him, knowing that he is my man and coming together as a couple, right? But if she's going the other way around and she goes, okay, I think I like him. He seems to have it all there. Everything seems good. I'll do the next part to keep him here. Then I'll run the congruency test. And that is when the guys go, she's a effing gold digger. She's asking me for this. The reason that she's doing that is because you haven't demonstrated the fact that you can take care of her in the relationship.
If you would initiate it and do it yourself, then she would not have...
That's why you refrain from having sex. You hold the power in that relationship to demonstrate who you are. You'll get less of these bullshit congruency tests, okay?
Because we also see, like, as a girls, we see that if she, like, and unfortunately it's true, like when the lady is like beachy and she's not really showing the guy attention, and the guy is like all over the place, especially in Ukraine. Like if he wants to reach her, if he wants to win her, if I don't know, like a hunter, if he wants to get her, he will do whatever just to take her attention, and it will be flowers, it will be everything. When the lady is easy, then the guy like losing interest. So a striker is right that females and males, we're looking very differently at the relationship. Like somebody more emotional, somebody for a more practical view, somebody for, and also maybe even I can say that everybody looking for the relationship for different reasons. Some people will say like, I'm fine to be single, like, or like alone, and and then just have a relationship. Sometimes somebody would say, no, I can't leave myself, like I'm so desperate and lonely, then I need to, I need somebody. So everybody, and the ladies the same, like I'm not saying that just the guys, some ladies say, I don't mind, like whatever. So you just need to remember that we are different, that the guys and the ladies are very different, and vision of the relationship are different. But if you need any advice, and if you are in this situation, like you better like talk to somebody like professional or somebody who has experience. We're always there for you to discuss that. We can, from the third side, like we can look, not because we involved in this relationship or we emotionally invested, or we have feelings for this lady or for this guy. We can tell you how it is, so far it was 100% that we've been right into the point when we say that to the guy is like, oh really?
Yeah,
like I didn't think about that.
We've had this conversation
Seriously.
so many times, and we let the tell the story, and then I say, look, from another point of view, like I always try to look at things from different points of view, and I'll explain like from her point of view, this is what she sees, and like we think that I see it this way, it's practical, she needs to see that way too. If she doesn't, then she's stupid, she's crazy, whatever. But if you explain it from another point of view, is that this is what she's actually looking for. And if you understand what she's looking for, you can put yourself in a position that you're in a place, you put yourself into a position, how can I explain this? You put yourself into a position where you are wanted. Well, not even wanted, where you are needed, but you're controlling that position. But it's about understanding it first. Going in there like with the shield up saying, well, if she's going to say this and that and she can get lost or whatever, it's wrong, you know. And it also comes down to also with shit tests, congruency tests, you know, like this is like my favorite thing to talk about, is that understanding them, you can navigate them fully and you can get super hot women that are well out of your league by understanding congruency tests, okay? But most guys go, oh, I'm not putting up with that shit. Okay, you don't understand what the congruency test is.
Yeah, you need to build this respect in each other. I think that the lady need to achieve this respect in men, and the man should achieve this respect in women, and then they will be in a great relationship. So this was the 3-part series about
XE.
X.
How do you spell it?
Oh my God!
Is there a dollar sign in there?
Yeah. We hope that it was useful and understandable. Like if you have any questions and you want to discuss it in more depth, better private email or comments.
And to be honest, it's probably 60%. This 3 videos is like, if you do meet a woman that you're interested in, it's probably like 60% of your trip. Nobody talks about it this way. They always talk about these. A good girl won't have sex on the first date, on the third date, on the 4th date, on the 6th. It's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. Okay.
There's no time frame.
There's no time frame.
This is like more to logically understand that and understand. Okay, so what are you doing wrong? What is she doing wrong? Is she doing anything wrong? Are you doing anything wrong? So like there's just answers to these questions rather than when should you propose, when should you bring the gift, ring, and when should you marry? So there is no time frames in that. Like there is more about understanding the situation and be competent.
And understand too that like you're 2 different people, man and the woman. And the third part here, like really the underlying topic is that when you do have sex, even if she initiates it and she's like, I really want to have sex with you, understand this, right? What she's saying is that I'm wanting to take it to the next level, because who is looking for a traditional relationship, because that's what all the guys say, a traditional relationship is that you are taking care of her. She's looking for a traditional man. We can call it whatever we want. We can dissect it any other way. A lot of it comes down to the socioeconomics of the country and her own situation. She's looking for that. She's willing to do this. What is she going to get out of a relationship with you? Free drinks and a meal and a good time? No. Depending on her age, if she's in later on in life, she wants to see some action from you, and that for her, for the rest of her life, she is taken care of. Okay? If you understand, you don't have to agree with it, but if you understand that, you can formulate your own strategy around that makes sense to put you in a position that you're still in control of, that works in your favor when it comes to your dating strategy over in Ukraine.
See you guys next time.
See you later.